Food workers of Reddit, what menu item would you definitely not suggest? Long John Silver's, do not get the baked cod. They're stored in a bucket in the fridge and all we do is microwave it over ice. It also makes the back smell worse than it already does. Former McDonald's manager, the ice cream machine had numbers on the front. That was how many days until the next deep cleaning. If that number is below 12, maybe don't get the ice cream. It counts from 14. No one empties a machine and deep cleaned it daily. It goes into an automatic sterilization mode around 12 or 3 unless the store changes the time, which is why you can't get ice cream at night. But the inside of the machine is horrible when you break it down. The shake syrup tubes are very prone to mold. Even if you run sanitizer through them regularly. The McCafe and Frappe machines are also very gross. The McCafe machine gets cycled nightly, unless they skip through it without doing it, which is hard, so unlikely. But people like to ignore the foamer heads, so mold is an issue there too. The Frappe machine doesn't get deep cleaned, but once a week. It is a literal mold machine. The blenders are cleaned regularly but not the mixed tubes. The actual food is fine, just shit quality. But my best advice for food is go when it's busy. If you go when it's slow, food might be sitting past its prime to cut down on food cost. If it's busy, you know it's fresh, and within its time. I worked at a Dairy Queen, while in high school. There were two in my town, one owned by my boss, and the other by her brother. I was always amazed at how spectacularly clean ours was. Our boss always insisted on taking the time to do things right and keep things clean. If it meant something went slow, and you give away a burger or a shake, so be it. I have literally nothing bad to say about it. But I worked a day at her brother's DQ, and my god, what a shithole. People coming in from smoke breaks, and not washing hands, the grill never getting cleaned, and refilling machines and dispensers without ever cleaning them. I suppose my point is just that sometimes it all comes down to individual management. I would order anything from the DQ that I worked at, because it's still owned by the same woman. I wouldn't order a thing from the other one. Worked at a Cold Stone Creamery for about 6 months. My training on how to wash dishes was to rinse it with some water, drop it in the soapy water, pick it out of there, and drop it in the rinse water. Didn't have sponges. Only had towels that shed when trying to dry things. I asked what about scrubbing things, was told it wasn't necessary. During a slow afternoon, I took one of those shedding towels, and scrubbed one of the containers that the mix-ins were held in, and the damn towel was black when I was done. *HURK*. I showed it to my manager, the one who had trained me. He was like, I guess we should scrub things when I did the dishes. Even though it was slower, I washed every damn thing on my shift. Oh, and don't get the cakes. Trust me. Those full sheet cakes that your smaller cake gets cut from, sat opened in the freezer for days if not longer. They just had the thin sheet of plastic wrap covering them. Most of them are freezer burnt, and they just hope no one tastes it due to the mix-ins. I've worked in several restaurants, and have zero stories like this. These threads bother me, because if there was one single good employee at the restaurant it wouldn't be an issue. If I saw mold in the ice machine I would clean it. If I ever saw a server try to bring something to a table off the floor I would take it from them and trash it. If they take it from the trash you tell them you'll go to the table with them, and tell the customer exactly what they just did. If they have a problem with that you get the manager or corporate involved. If you ever visit Poland I assume it's just our thing, and see a restaurant called the Sphinx, never ever eat anything from there. Worked in one for like a year. The standards were so mind-blowingly low, that some shit looks like from a sitcom. Example, waiters would regularly drop meat or other stuff on the floor, pick it up with their bare hands, throw it back at the plate, and carry it to customers like nothing happened. If they recognized low tippers, they would do it on purpose, though never seen anybody spit in the food, so there is that plus. We had spoiled chicken day at least once a month, where all chicken dishes were made with awful horrible quality meat that smelled like death. Fish too, but much rarer. Milk used in shakes was also frequently past expiration dates. Beer was stale, and we had fungus growing on the whatever you call beer dispenser where it wasn't visible to customers. Sometimes dishes and cutlery were just wiped, not washed. And I know from coworkers that it went that way for years in many restaurants in the chain. I also used to run a sushi bar. In most of them, grilled tuna, if you don't like raw fish, but want to take part in the sushi dinner, is not grilled at all. It's just microwaved, although it doesn't pose any health risks. I figured you would wanna know. The salads at McDonald's. Sure, our food isn't great, but at least where I'm, the cucumber and grape tomatoes are only used in the salads, and are usually left sitting longer than they should be. If you're trying to go to Macca's and be healthier, you're better off getting a grilled chicken wrap. Ask for fresh grilled too if you don't mind waiting the 8 or so minutes. Better yet, spend probably the same money and go buy salad ingredients. You'll make something 100x better than you'll get from us. Sonic drive-in worker here. I cannot say it louder, you are eating mold if you order our ice cream. Nobody cleans the machines unless they break down. Even then, nobody cleans the cabinet in the bottom that the fan blows on the milk. The fan is always covered in mold because we cannot get to it to clean it. I used to work at an old mom and pop movie theater. We reused the popcorn from last night, put it in a big Tupperware container overnight, and threw that stale shit back into the machine to heat up. I also once found half a bug in the ice machine, but management didn't seem overly concerned. I work in a tiny kitchen of a tiny, independently owned restaurant. Lots of the food we make is pretty good, as the managers just get ingredients from the grocery store. However, our avocados come in vacuum sealed halves that are so slimy and nasty, it makes me cringe every time someone orders it. Also seafood. We're in Ohio. Don't order seafood, bro. My day job is to clean beer lines at several places across the state. If you drink draft, pay attention to the faucet. If it doesn't look mostly clean, do not drink. Pay extra and get the bottle. In high school, many years ago, I worked at a nationwide pizza place that rhymes with sparrow. I cut my finger badly while grating cheese. I went to throw out the cheese that had blood on it. My manager stopped me, washed it off, and used it for pizza. I work for my city as a part-time concession stand worker. So basically, I'm the guy in the concession stand at your kids' baseball, basketball, or soccer games. Don't order anything from concession stands that is not already packaged. Chips or candy is fine, but burgers and hot dogs especially you should stay away from. When our bun orders come in, they are almost always expired, and we are constantly throwing out moldy buns. We have roaches and flies constantly. Anytime you buy something from a concession stand, check the expiration, because it's more than likely expired. We had drinks in our storeroom that were over 2 years expired. Former Five Guys employee: never order the milkshakes. That machine is dirty and the mix used is nasty. Plus they charge way too much. On the other hand, everything else at Five Guys isn't terrible for fast food. Edit: there are also monsters who ask for bacon in their shakes and I will never forgive them. It's been a long time, but I used to work at a Regal Cinemas concession stand in 1999. I never saw mold in the ice machine. It seemed clean. We usually every night took off the little spigots on the drink machines and would let them sit in soapy water, so they were usually clean. We had to clean the popcorn machine every night, and that thing was a bitch and a half to clean. I got a 2nd-degree burn cleaning it. But at the end of the night, when we cleaned out the machine first, we had to scoop all the old popcorn out, and they made us bag it in a large bag, and then they apparently mixed that in with fresh popcorn the next morning. So if you go to a first of the day movie showing, you might be eating some of last night's late popcorn. The butter we put on movie theater popcorn is not butter. It does not have to be refrigerated, so I don't know what it is, but it comes in a bag, and we put it in the machine that warms it and keeps it warm. Same with nacho cheese. We had a giant pickle on the menu, and once in a blue moon someone would order it. It just comes in an individual bag and we cut it open and then pour out the juice. It's probably fine safety wise, but I always found it kinda gross. Just gonna throw out there that there is a massive variance across fast food and chain restaurants. Some are run by morons who don't care about cleaning or safety. Some are run by good management and are perfectly safe to eat. All these places get their food from the same 4 or 5 distributors and they all have corporate protocol for keeping their food safe. It's what each restaurant does with it once it gets there that makes the difference. Outback Steakhouse. I worked there 15 years ago. Side note, holy fuck, that amount of time just hit me like a truck, and I still don't eat the bread. It comes pre-packaged, and it was placed on a toaster at random by busy workers. Since there was no way to know how long it was on, their workers would tap the bread to see if it was toasted enough to go out to the customers. So basically each price of bread may have between 28 people's hands touching it. Busy people who are touching everything, and are sure as hell not washing their hands as frequently as they should. Not in food anymore, but I have to. Wendy's cheese/chili cheese fries. That cheese sauce was always dried up, crusty, nasty as fuck when I got there. Bosses made me thin it out with hot water until it was gone. Plus half the people there couldn't get the really hard formula of ingredients dumped on fries. And the bacon fries, the bacon was stuff that was too crunchy/burnt to put on burgers, so it got crushed, and half the time sat around to get cold in a grease puddle. Panda Express, so probably just a location issue, but mine was so slammed out the ass busy non-stop fryers didn't get skimmed until close. I also honestly never saw clear oil once. Always black, smoky, and full of burnt crumbs. I won't touch the fried stuff, but things like the kung pao and such that's just made in the woks, always good. Could have obviously just been my locations, but yuck. I don't trust these items at any location. This is the single greatest thread for anyone on the fence about starting to cook your own meals every day. Goodness. Thank you for watching. Please consider giving this video a like, and remember to subscribe and hit that bell button, as we add new Reddit readouts every day. See you next time. Bye.